Our story begins in a small village in Nigeria. Amina Bello and Zainab Okoye met when they were just 6 years old. Amina was a calm and gentle child. She always spread smiles around her. Zainab, on the other hand, was fiery, passionate, stubborn, and a bit jealous by nature. One day, a festival was held in the village square, and the two girls made a promise: we'll always be sisters. Years passed. The two girls grew up and moved to the city. Now, both were turning heads with their beauty. One evening, at a party, they met David Kofi. David was handsome and charismatic. Amina was instantly charmed by David's warm smile. Her eyes sparkled. Zainab, the moment she saw David, thought, this man should be mine. David started spending time with both, but his heart gradually leaned toward Amina. One evening, David took Amina to the beach and got down on one knee to propose. Amina shouted, "Yes!" She was over the moon with happiness. But Zainab, watching from afar, felt her heart fill with rage. Zainab walked along the shore, her mind swirling with fury and heartbreak. "This isn't fair," she muttered under her breath. "David should have been mine, not hers." The day before the wedding, excitement buzzed through the air as friends and family gathered at a luxurious beachside venue for the celebration. Amina wore a shimmering golden dress that caught the light with every movement. She looked like royalty, glowing with joy. Zainab arrived shortly after, dressed in a deep sapphire gown, but behind the glamour, her eyes were sharp with restrained anger. Later that evening, David and Amina took a quiet walk on the wooden pier, hand in hand, their hearts light with love. The shadows of the palm trees danced across the water, and for a moment, everything seemed perfect, until Zainab appeared in the distance. Zainab's heels echoed ominously on the wooden boards as she walked up to them. In a clipped voice, she said, "Congratulations, Amina," though her eyes betrayed her rage. Amina smiled gently, her voice calm as ever. "Thank you, Zainab. I hope you find happiness too, real happiness." In that instant, something in Zainab snapped. Her composed exterior cracked as her face twisted with fury. "This story won't end with you," Zainab whispered coldly, her tone filled with warning. David stepped in quickly, sensing the rising tension. "Zainab, please, this isn't the time," he said firmly, trying to de-escalate the moment. But Zainab didn't hear him. Her eyes locked onto Amina like a hawk. In her world, only her and Amina existed now. And then, with a sudden scream of emotion, Zainab grabbed Amina's arm and shoved her hard into the water below. Gasps echoed from the crowd. Amina's scream was swallowed by the sea as she disappeared beneath the surface. "Amina!" David shouted, his voice cracking. Without hesitation, he ripped off his jacket and dove into the sea. Zainab remained where she stood, a strange calm settling over her. To her, this wasn't chaos, it was retribution. The crowd gathered quickly, murmuring in panic, not knowing whether to help or run. David emerged from the water, struggling but determined, holding Amina by the arm and pulling her towards safety. A curious silence fell over the crowd. The locket had swung open, revealing a small, faded photo inside, one that hadn't been seen in years. Zainab, still on her feet, stepped forward slowly, her breath caught in her throat as her eyes fixed on the photo. That's my mother," Zainab whispered, her voice cracking with disbelief and sudden fear. Amina, weak and shivering, sat up slowly and looked into Zainab's eyes. "There's something I should have told you a long time ago," she said softly. We're we're half sisters, Zainab," she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper, but carrying the weight of a lifetime. Zainab's face twisted with betrayal. You lied to me all these years," she cried out, her voice full of pain. "I didn't lie," Amina said, choking back tears. "I just didn't know how to tell you. You were so young when your mother married my father. I didn't want to lose you." Zainab fell to her knees. The revelation hit her like a wave. Everything she thought she knew shattered in an instant. Amina's voice trembled, but her words were full of sincerity. "Because I loved you. I didn't want to lose the only sister I ever had." David slowly stepped forward and knelt beside them. "Zainab," he said gently, "Amina never stopped loving you. You've always been in her heart." Zainab stayed silent for a long moment, then suddenly leaned forward and hugged Amina tightly, years of anger and sorrow pouring out in one embrace. The crowd watched in awe. Tears welled in many eyes, and slowly a round of gentle applause began. Claps for love, for truth, for healing. David took Amina's hand and leaned in close. No matter what happens next, I'm here. We'll get through this together, he whispered. Zainab turned toward Amina, her face filled with remorse. I'm sorry, she said, her voice low and raw. I let jealousy poison me. Amina smiled through her tears. Let's start again, she said softly. From now on, no more secrets, no more distance, just sisters. As the final rays of sun dipped below the horizon, the three of them sat quietly on the edge of the pier, together, ready to heal. That night became a lesson etched in every heart present. Jealousy, when left unchecked, can destroy even the most sacred bonds. But love and forgiveness have the power to rebuild everything that was broken. The next morning, Zainab surprised everyone by standing beside Amina as her maid of honor. It was more than a gesture, it was the start of something new. The wedding was held at the same beach venue, but this time, the air was filled with joy, not tension. Every soul present felt the magic of new beginnings. At one quiet moment, Zainab hugged Amina tightly. Her voice trembled as she whispered, "No matter what, I'll always love you, my sister." David turned toward Zainab and said, "We want you to be happy too, Zainab. This family, it belongs to you as much as to us." Zainab stood alone for a moment, gazing at the horizon, and for the first time in years, her heart felt light. Amina and David invited Zainab to join them on their honeymoon. What began as two had become three, a family reborn. On the second day of their trip, Zainab returned the necklace to Amina. "This doesn't just belong to you anymore," she said. "It's ours now." Amina held Zainab's hand and whispered, "From now on, there will be no more walls between us, no more secrets, only truth." David, sitting a few steps away with a coffee cup in hand, smiled as he watched them. This is what a real family looks like, he thought. And in that tranquil moment, they knew they had left the darkness of the past behind and stepped into a future lit by forgiveness. Our story ends here, but for Amina, Zainab, and David, this was only the beginning of something far more beautiful. So what do you think? Should Zainab have been forgiven after all that she did? If you had been in Amina's shoes, what would you have done? Don't forget to tell us in the comments. Your thoughts mean more than you know. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video and share it with someone you love. And if you want more dramatic, emotional stories like this, hit the subscribe button. After subscribing, tap the notification bell so you won't miss the next chapter. Our next story will be full of secrets, twists, and unforgettable moments. Don't miss it. What did you personally take away from this story? Tell us below. We'd love to hear your perspective. Let this be your reminder. Jealousy, if left unchecked, can tear apart even the most sacred bonds. But remember, true love and forgiveness can rebuild what jealousy tried to destroy. Send this video to someone who needs a reminder that healing is always possible. Because sometimes, all it takes is one story to change someone's life. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Your support means the world to us. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself and each other. Remember, every story, no matter how painful, has a lesson waiting to be found. We want to hear what lesson you took from this story. Don't be shy. Write it in the comments. If you have ideas for our next story, we'd love your suggestions. Drop them in the comments below. In our next tale, we'll lift another veil of secrets from the heart of a new family saga. The goodbye for now, and until next time, may your days be filled with peace, healing, and love.